Hi, it's Jez here from nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. So it's the 1st of March and so it's Stamp Around UK. So we're UK demonstrators and we get together on the 1st of every month to do a video hop. And we always have a theme, and the theme this month is favourite DSP. So I've made a traveller's notebook. Okay, so I've got this traveller's notebook and I really like to make my own little booklets to go in it, and I also wanted to make a sort of a portable version as well, so when the notebook is full I can park it in here and then I can reuse this cover for something else. So I've used the hydrangea DSP and I've used some red cabbage stained paper, which turned out surprisingly wonderful to go with this this DSP. And I like making things like this because I am a paper hoarder, and so by making things like this I get to stroke my paper often, and it's actually used for something practical, and it's not just sitting in a drawer. So in this video I show you how I make this bit which comes out, and then this can get reused when I make another one with another favourite DSP, and then when this is filled with memories, thoughts, photos, what have you, I can then put it in here, and it goes, I think it goes quite well inside this one as well. So I'm doing it in two parts. So in part 2 of the video I'll show you how I made this cover, and also do the decorations and the tags and on here. Okay, so I hope you'll stick around for both of them, and I hope you'll go and hop around. All the links will be down below to see what everybody else has made as well, and I'll have sort of measurements and everything over on my blog as well, which you'll also find linked down below. Okay, so enjoy. So we're going to use this hydrangea paper, which it's got my favourite purple in it, and you know I am a big purple fan. I've only got half a pack. I did a paper share with Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting, who'll be on this video hop, and so I'm virtually going to use the whole of this half pack, and I don't mind because I didn't want to give it away. I have used that one section, and so how I did this one was it used half a pack, so there was 5 sheets in the book and then 1 sheet for the cover. I haven't got the full thing, so I'm going to do the cover in cardstock and sort of map this on it. I thought that would work, and then have these for the pages. I did think this would make a nice cover because that would be chopped off, but when I realised I had to sacrifice, I had to make the cover a bit differently, then I changed it. So then I decided as well that the thing that prompted me to do this was thinking about the paper. Now this is copier paper at 120 GSM, so it's a bit thicker than normal, so it could take a little bit. I mean, if I wanted to do some colouring and some painting on it, I could. It would be better than normal copier paper. So I actually dyed some paper with some red cabbage, and yes, I dyed paper with red cabbage, and it's come out this beautiful colour here, which is just perfect for this paper. So that was another thing that made me sway myself to this paper, was I could use this. I'm a bit of a junk journaler, and we dye our paper, and I just love the patterns that you get with it. So so yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So let's start cutting our papers to size. So we are 8 1/4 wide, so we're going to go 8 3/4. So that's the width, and then we just fold it in half. So I'm using my trimmer there to help butt it up, so we can just crease it. Use my bone folder, and that is going to be our page, and we can see that that is the same size as this. Okay, so I'm going to cut all my pages down, and then we're going to cut the DSP. So that's my 5 pages done. So I think they look really pretty. So I have cut one of these, so because I had to think about it, because it's directional. So you have to cut your DSP down to 8 1/4 tall. So if it's directional, that's where you want the 8 1/4 to be, because that's going to be the standy up bit. And then you cut it to 8 3/4 wide, and then just fold it in half, and then that fits lovely. And I will be having this as the front of the booklet, as opposed to the cover of the whole thing. So this is directional, so we want this to be cut at 8 1/4 in this direction, because it's 8 1/4 tall. Okay, and then that gives you a nice bit of directional there for a pocket. Okay, and then we cut it this way to 8 3/4, and then fold it up in half. And then just give it a burnish with your bone folder, and then I might change the order of these, but that is another one there. And because that's green, but it's still going to look really nice when we use that as a pocket. It will look lovely, and then you can put a photo, or stick something on there, and that'll look lovely. So I'm going to carry on and cut those up. So that's them all cut out and all ready in the booklet, the Traveller's Notebook. And so we need to just add some pockets, and we've got lots of leftovers that we can use to make the pockets. And you can see that paper, that dyed paper goes so well with it. So just a bit of red cabbage, boil it up, simmer for 20 minutes, left overnight, drained out, and then I just soaked them in it and left them to dry. I kind of paint them on with a paintbrush and sort of left it to dry. Well, I might have put some of this in the oven, that's why we've got a little bit of that, but I now leave it to dry naturally. Okay, now you will notice that as it's all folded over like that, we've got this little bit of excess there, and you will notice here they're all it's sort of been cut, presumably machine cut, so you will find that those center pages are actually shorter because each page has been trimmed. So if we look there in that center page, it won't be 8 1/4 across, well, 8 3/4 across it was, wasn't it? So that's come down now to about just under 8.5. So it's quite a bit. There's like a 1/4 of an inch difference between that middle one and the out one, and you can see that there is a difference there. So you can trim them down. Now, I've had various different successes and failures in doing this. You can't do it on a trimmer like this. I've tried it with a guillotine. I tend to sort of hack. Some people use like a Stanley knife or some sort of craft knife to sort of cut them down. I've tried using scissors, and one of the ways I just look at it and I think, well, the difference between each page and the page before is about a 1/16. So why don't I just shave off a sort of a 1/16 from each page. So, and if we count, so that would be 1/16. That one would need 2. That one would need 3. That one would need 4 4/16 between the first one, the middle one, and the last one. And I'm just checking that measurement. It's just a guesstimate, but by guessing there, that is about right. The other way I did it, my mini one, was I just kind of marked a pencil mark along there and cut it down. But I'm going to try this 1/16 method and see if that works. I'm taking the 2 sheets together, and I'm going to take that down a 1/16. So putting that there, I'm looking there to go down a 1/16, which is basically to the edge of that grey bit there. So we're taking that tiny little smidge off. Obviously next one will be 2/16. So that should now go in there, and that is much neater. Okay, so the next one will go 2/16, and we can see that protrudes out much more. Oh. I've took out an extra sheet. No, I haven't. So we'll stick that there, and we'll come over 1 2/16. So we're now further over from that grey bit, and we've taken a little bit more off. But we've got ourselves a nice neat edge. So I'm going to finish that off, and then we'll see the results. So that's them all trimmed and done, and I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. So now we've got to think about pockets. In this original one, the paper was non-directional, so I actually cut each sheet a little bit longer and then just folded them up. But that didn't work with this because it's directional, so we would have upside down flowers, which would just look weird. So that's why I didn't do it with this. But you could have done that. So we could have cut these, instead of 8 1/4, you could have cut them, say 9 inches, and then folded them up, which is what I did with these. And then on these front ones, I actually cut them 8 1/4 long, but added, they were the full sort of 12 inches wide, and then I just folded the ends in, which is another option. So I've been through and sort of picked out which papers I want to go with. I'm not necessarily choosing the other side of the sheet. I thought we'd mix it up. That one's got a lot of pink in it, so I want to have this pink flower. So I've cut just off the strip. I cut it at 4 3/8, which is what it is, and then I took a smidge off because we've got the fold there, so we want to be just the other side of the fold. And I kind of want my pocket to come down there. So I'm going to take this rectangle and I want to keep that pink flower in it. You can see the smidge that I took off. So I'm going to cut just diagonally across there. Then that can be a pocket in itself on the other side. That's directional, so it'd have to be that way up. So that will stick down in there really nicely. And I could use that on that side if I wanted to, which isn't a bad idea actually. So I would just, for this, put a bead of glue down each side. I did fill this the other day. Yep, forgot about that. So that's my pocket, and I say I might put that in there. I'm going to leave it there for now because I haven't decided. I didn't do each side. I just did the underside. I left those as it was because it's quite pretty. I may go back with scraps afterwards. I decided this one was quite a nice one for that, and I thought I might go up the side with that one. I should actually have a scrap of this that I might have decided to use elsewhere. There. Oh yeah, I was going to do that with that, so we will cut it out of this. So I can either go up the side of that, or I can do what I've just done, which is that. So I've undecided about that one. So one that I've definitely decided, I thought this would be a nice little side pocket. So instead of decorating that, because I really like that, I'm going to use this as a side pocket. There, it is already the right height because they were cut that way. So it's about deciding the width that I want it. And so looking at this, I thought maybe 1.5 inches would be the right width. Which is about half this piece. So by cutting it down to 1.5 inches, one of them's slightly thicker, so actually I might do that one. Quite like that side actually. We've got a little bit more of it. Does actually seem a little bit thicker. What sometimes happens when you dye paper is that it shrinks ever so slightly. So I think it might actually be a smidge below the 8.25. So we'll just do what we did before, go to the edge of that grey bit. And that's perfect. So in the same way, I'm going to stick that to there. So just showing that you can put a pocket on the plane if you don't want one on there. I could put that on there, but I felt it was too busy. So I'm going to put it over there. So that's the two different ways of doing a pocket. One like that, and one on the side. And then the only difference, other difference, is this sort of centre spread. So what I decided on this centre spread was I thought it'd be quite nice that they would decorate, and I thought they could either be one strip and a small pocket, or both that way. It's non-directional, this. Those posies look okay whichever way up, but it's quite nice to have a diagonal pocket in there. So it is slightly too wide, so I'm going to trim the edge off, and then I thought I'd fold it and then cut it so that I keep it attached. So I'm going to trim this down to be the same width. So let's open it up. And it is there at 8 3/8 it looks like. I'll take that side off. 3/16, not 3/8. Could take a little smidge again off it. Yep, that works for me. So let's fold it in half. Give it a good burnish. So that fits on there. And then I want it to come up from the centre. So we're going to go down from there and up to that corner. And that is our little pocket in the front there, in the middle even. All matchy-matchy. Okay, so then to stick this in, then you'd stick round there, round there, round there. Put a little bead up the middle to keep it in. This is going to get sewn, and there would probably be a stitch in there to hold it in place. So probably, actually, I'm not going to stick in the middle. That might make complications. So we're just going to go around the 3 sides to do that. So that's them done. So I'm going to go and finish sticking in the rest of those pockets, and then we'll be ready to sew the signatures. So all the pockets are done. I'll do a flip through at the end. So now I need to sew in the signatures. Now I've done this before on videos, and one fairly recently, and as this is a time limited project for Stamp Around UK, I'll speed this bit up, but I will link to the video that shows how to do this in real time. So that's it done, and then I just usually take the bone folder and sort of crease it, and there you can see all the pages and the pockets that I put in. And you can do some stamping on the pages, some sponging, some stenciling. I thought about using some stencils, and yeah, and that's it. That is, and you can, some people hang charms from these. You can tie it in a bow, you can trim it short, you can trim it long. I'm just going to trim it there for now. Yeah, and that is it. We are supposed to keep these till about 20 to 30 minutes, so I will do a part 2 where I make the laminated cover for it, but I shall leave it at that, so you can go and have a look at the other projects in the video hop. And yeah, and I hope you enjoyed that, and you will come back for part 2. But I'm very pleased with how this is looking, and it will go smashing in my TN. It will look a treat in there. So without needing another cover, that will just slot in there as it is, ready to be filled with things. So that's how it would work if you already have a traveller's notebook. But I am going to make a portable cover for it for taking out and about. Okay, so please do check on everybody's videos down below. They'll all be linked. They'll be linked to my blog post, where I'll have all the measurements and everything for you, and a link to part 2, so you can see me making the cover. Okay, thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.